kind of scoured the internet and I wasn't really able to find a how-to video on doing a differential fluid change on my 2017 GT350. So I decided that I would just go ahead and do my own how-to video. I've never done it before. I kind of scoured the forums to see what was available online. There's really not that much. I went into the Ford manual to pull up, what type of fluid and how much I needed to do the change. You need a bottle of friction modifier, and I'll show that to you. And you also need, it's just a couple ounces, and you also need a bottle of the gear oil, and it's a 75W85 full synthetic gear oil. So I'll show you all that stuff. I'll show you the tools, and I'll lift the car up, show you the underside of the car, and we'll go from there. But here's the car. And I'm in the military, so I'm lucky enough to be able to use these bays. It's only $6 an hour to have a lift, but it makes the job a lot easier than doing it in your driveway on your back. Okay, car's up in the air. First time we've had it up in the air. So, let's get a look. Little scrape right there. Here's the pan. Here's the ducting that leads the air into the brakes to help cool. There's also a vent here that directs air onto the brakes. And also another vent over here. And then obviously kind of a vent here that vents air out, or positive pressure out of the wheel well. And then we got a random guy walking underneath the car with us. And then also there's this one here that kind of directs air. Right here you can see this cutout. Kind of directs air onto the transmission, one on each side. See the ride sensors here for the MagneRide, and then obviously the MagneRide dampers, and the connections. What's up? No, that's steering. So here's the motor mounts, right there. And continuing back, here's the cats. All the way back. A little deflector here to deflect air. Back here. Here's the resonators that the GT350R does not have, that most people cut off. Coming back. Rear control arms. Here's the rear diff. Control arms. And here's the rear diffuser. Right here, it's pretty solid actually. And then you have these cutouts here, and you can probably just barely see in there because of the lighting, but this cutout actually is a channel that directs air directly into the radiator back there, or the heat exchanger for cooling the rear differential, and there's one on each side. You can maybe see it a little better from up here. You can see the cooler there. And then you can see all the piping right there on the back of the differential. Okay, in this part of the video, what I'm trying to show you is how I lifted the car, and I just talk about locations on the car, on the pinch weld, where you can actually place a jack, or in this video I'm using this 2-post lift. So I'm just showing you, I use these rubber blocks so that I don't damage the pinch weld. If you don't use them, you will bend the pinch weld. So that's why I prefer using the rubber blocks. And then I use the front K-member right here on top of these bolts, so it's not touching the body of the car at all. It's just touching the bolts on each side. So it's clear of the body, just on the bolts. There's a hose you gotta pull to drain it, and I'm wondering if that's this one right here that I gotta pull off in order to drain the rear differential. So we'll see how this goes, and we'll shoot video while we do it. You can see there's the pump for the cooler and the lines. So it's gonna suck fluid from here. And if we follow this line back, you can see here's the tag. Let me see if I can get that tag and see what it says. No, it just has a part number on it. I don't know if you can see that. So here's the line, following it back. Yeah, the line goes into the pump right here. And then there is, let me see if I can find the other line. Here's the other line that comes out of the pump. I'm assuming, yeah. So another tag, another part number. So lines comes out of the pump here into the cooler, and then back on the other side. It comes out the other side of the cooler and back. We follow this line here. It goes back to here. Ooh, that's not good. Is that supposed to be loose like that? Check this one. Yeah, I guess they do have a little bit of play. You can see that actually moves, and it's where it's been kind of touching this metal bracket, and there's a little bit of scoring on it right there. So I'm gonna check that, and what I'm gonna do is either I'm gonna zip tie this so that it doesn't contact metal on metal, or I'll wrap this up in some high temperature tape, so that, you know, we don't get a failure of this here and spray oil all over the track, or worse, get it on the exhaust and start a fire, which is, I mean, the exhaust is right here, so it's literally maybe 5 inches away from that line. So we'll mess with that, and we'll see what we can do about draining this diff fluid out. So okay, one more thing. Here's a shot of the drive shaft, which I haven't seen before. First time looking at it. And from this drive shaft to my last one, the one that was on the Boss 302, it's much smaller. It's not as large. It's a lot shorter too. And that's probably due to the longer transmission. This is a little bit longer maybe than the MT82. And also the rear diff sticks out a little bit further. So my Boss 302 drive shaft was just over 55 inches. We'll see if we can get a measurement on this one and see, you know, how long this one is. But anyways, there's the drive shaft. It's pretty small, maybe a 3-inch drive shaft, and it's also still a steel 2-piece. Unfortunately, it would be nice if Ford would go to the aluminum, but it looks like this mount here is all aluminum. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming the drive shaft's steel. It looks like it's, yeah, it's got some rust on it, so it's steel. But once again, 2-piece with this CV joint in the back here, and then the U-bolts, or the up here in the front. So there we go. You can also, one more thing, you can see the cooler lines going up to the front of the car, and these are for the transmission. You can see the lines coming back right here into the transmission. One there and one there. So I'm assuming it pulls fluid from this line here to the cooler. There's a pump internally inside the transmission that pushes fluid out of here, and then it sucks fluid back and dumps it up here higher. And on another video, I will do a transmission fluid change on this car. Here's the drain plug. Good, nice, easy spot. We'll have to find the fill port somewhere up on the side of the car. Maybe up there, that one there, I'm not sure. We'll have to check it out. It's usually on the passenger side. So, and then over here on this side, you can see this is all boxed off. You can see there's the oil filter. The infamous, gotta torque it down to 16 to 18 foot-pounds, otherwise it'll fall off on the track and start your car on fire, oil filter. And then you can't really see the lines for the cooler up front that sits right in here. This one's the one on the driver's side is for the engine oil. And then obviously the one on the passenger side is for the transmission. So there we go, let's get this going. Alright, so what I'm going to do with this here is I'm going to measure how much I drain out so that I can put in the exact same amount. This little scale that these bottles come with. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull the fill plug out, because like I was saying to my brother, I don't want to drain all the fluid out, then realize that this is seized on there or something and I can't get it off, and now I'm stuck. I can't refill it, but I've just drained all the fluid out and the car's stuck. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's the fill port. It looks like it's just a 3/8 drive. You know, I'll put maybe a small extension on there. We'll see how much space we have, and then I'll pull the fill port out. So let's check it out. Okay, it also has, let's see if you can see this right here, this little magnet on the fill port, so that catches the metal particulates in the oil. There's just barely any on there, which is a good sign, means there's not a lot of metal shavings or metal fibers that are obviously coming off of pieces of the rear differential, which you don't want to happen. So if you see a lot of that, it's probably not a good sign. This car only has just under 5,000 miles on it, so shouldn't see a lot. It's the first oil change on the car. I've got, we'll say 5,000 miles because I'm just under 5,000, and 4 track days plus a lot of spirited driving, you know, through Gills Gap, Tail of the Dragon, you know, and a lot of, you know, just having fun with the car. So pretty good. And let's see if we can pull off this bottom plug now. So I don't like using crescent wrenches on stuff like this because the tolerances aren't as good. You have more of a chance of stripping something, but if you snug it up nice and tight, you've got a decent crescent wrench. So let's see what we got. There it goes. See how much we get. Okay. Oh shit. Come out quick. Okay. So you can see you're going to get a little fluid that comes out of the line, and then you're also going to get fluid that's coming out of the diff. So far, let's see if you can just move this hand a little bit so I can see how much we've got. So far, it looks like just over 1.5 quarts. about, I'd call it 1,700 milliliters that we drained out of there. It's about 1.75 quarts that we drained out of the diff. And we actually drained a little bit more because after we moved this out of the way, a little bit more drained out. So let's call it 1,800. All right, now it's time to fill. So, let's go see if they have a little pump. Can I get a fluid pump? Alright, only thing you gotta watch out for with these pumps is you don't know what kind of oil was in it last time, so you want to make sure that they are clean and empty. And honestly, maybe you want to sacrifice a little bit of fluid before you fill it up. Okay, so this kind of, it's, you can do it as a one-man job, but it's nicer, you know, as a two-man job, because my brother's here holding this quart here for me and holding, and make sure that line is all the way in the bottom. And then what we've done, if you put the camera over here, so I shoved this in there and make sure it's in there nice and tight, and now we're just going to go ahead and pump all the fluid out. So you can set the camera back over there. Just put that in front of the camera just so they can see it, what it's called. What does it say?
It's an additive friction modifier.
So I got that straight from the dealership. That's the stuff that it calls for.
Documenting everything? Or what?
Yeah, I'm just doing a how-to video because, yeah, I've been online to look these up. Nobody's done a how-to video yet on how to change the diff fluid. And all the Ford manual says is it gives you the specifications for the oil and the amounts, but it doesn't actually.
Oh, there it is, right there, brother.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, so nobody has it online, huh?
No, I haven't found one at least, and I've been on the forums to try and, see if somebody's done a how-to. What we just did is we just wrapped the line in the threads in Teflon. So we're gonna stick it back on there, make sure that it does not leak. So bring it up here so they can see. So after you put the Teflon on there, which you can see right here, I'm gonna wipe everything up. I don't want this to go back anywhere and get all over the car, so clean it up nice, and then get your crescent wrench, or if you have a larger one, then you don't have to use a crescent. I don't. Exhaust always comes out of the outer exhaust port right here. So there's always exhaust coming out of here. This one, you can see if you look inside, has a butterfly valve in it. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see it? Oh yeah, you can see it. There it is. So it has that butterfly valve that you can actuate, open and close, for more exhaust flow, and also a louder exhaust. It sounds better with them both open. I call it sport mode. Put this back on and torque it back down. So here we go. Okay, so I just reinstalled the plug. I'm just going to show you real quick the tools that you're going to need to do this job. So really all you need is a ratchet, 3/8 drive right here, a crescent wrench. You're going to need, if you have the right size wrench, you won't have to use a crescent. I didn't, so I used a crescent wrench. It wasn't a big deal. It was still easy to use. 2 bottles of the Motorcraft 75 W85 premium synthetic hypoid gear lubricant, 2 bottles of that, and 1 bottle of this Motorcraft additive friction modifier, and that's 4 ounces of that. So 1 bottle of that, 2 of those. Like I said, I used 1,800 milliliters for the refill. I added the exact same amount that I took out. Also some Teflon tape, some thread sealer, which is what this is, so you don't have any leaks, and a fluid pump, and then obviously something to drain the oil into. It's a pretty simple job. Looks like we're done. We used a lift. I think the best place to lift the car, if you have these rubber blocks. In this part of the video I make a mistake and I say frame rail, and what I'm trying to say is that I lifted the car at the pinch welds with these rubber blocks so as to not damage the pinch weld. Right here. And then I lifted on the, like I said before, on the front K-member. And that's it. Quick shot of the composite oil pan here. It holds 10 quarts of oil. Really easy to change also. There's the drain and fill plug, or excuse me, the drain plug. And that's about it. You got any questions about the maintenance, what I just did on the car? Go ahead and comment, make a comment in the comment section. And please, as always, like and subscribe to our videos. Thanks again.